Well, it's the old guy here. It's definitely autumn in Still River. The long, slow ride down. Temperatures going down. 60s during the day, 40s at night, some 30s, low 30s are happening. No real hard frost yet or soft frost, but it's coming. And preparations are being made for the holiday season already. Halloween's just a few days away, and they're already on to Christmas already in the stores, getting ready for Black Friday. And well, a lot of fall festivals around, and Still River, St. Ignat's Church is having their Day of 1,000 Pies event November 10th, I believe it is. And everybody makes pies and sells them, and they also have a luncheon for a very inexpensive price, and very good salad, pie, quiches, all kinds of pies, savory pies, a variety of shepherd's pies, fruit pies, vegetable pies, fish pies, cod pies, salmon pies, all kinds. And they sell them at the St. Ignat's Community Center, and it goes all day, and it's literally 1,000 pies, and they're for sale also. And Bob Radichowski has been put in charge of the maintenance department of the Still River Municipal Airport, which is like this 2-runway little airport for small planes. There is a couple of very small private jets that come in and out of there about 2 or 3 times a week. And preparations are underway again for the balloon liftoff. What happened some years ago was a private pilot who Bob was friends with came in. He used to fly this executive around for this gourmet specialty food company, and they had like high pressure vacuum sealed food items, capons, pheasant, little hams, brisket, ribs, and duck. And there was an overstock, and the pilot was talking with Bob. Said the executive said he has like maybe 2.5 dozen of these overstock food items, wants to send out somewhere to get rid of them, and make a donation. That way it's tax deductible, because they're quite expensive, these high pressure vacuum sealed food items. They're really strange. They're like in this like vinyl kind of foil pack, and you cut a hole in it and it blows up like a balloon because all the air rushes in, because there isn't an ounce of air left inside, so you don't have to freeze them to keep the food fresh. So what happened was, for some reason, via the Homeland Security Department, the Danbury Municipal Airport got like 2 dozen weather balloons, which they had no use for, but Harold, who was the head of the maintenance department, who's now retired mostly, hangs out there, but he putters around on his little 1 or 2 man green helicopter, which he calls a dragonfly. It looks like a big dragonfly too. He's got little whiskers on it, and he flies it around the airport to chase the geese and ducks away from hanging out on the runway. And well, it happened again. So the food items are coming the end of this week on skids from the private jet, and Bob's got like half a dozen weather balloons ready. And what happened years ago was he sent them off at the end of October, where this big storm and wind blew in, and they landed in like strange places. Some landed in like Jamaica, some landed in the Canary Islands, and a couple of them I think landed offshore, the western shore of Africa. And this little tribe that lived near the shore was pretty uninhabited. Saw them come in and got the food items and had a big celebration. And they said the gods sent them the food, sort of like manna, like food from the gods. I think there was a movie named that at one time, Food of the Gods. Anyway, so every year for the past 2 or 3 years, they've been waiting patiently the same couple of days out there on the shore, chanting, dancing, and having incantations and things for the food of the gods to come. Well, this year they're in luck if the winds are right again, because Bob's going to send up doubloons at the end of the week. And well, Angelica Lombardi, she's like in her late 40s, lives in a town next to Still River, and she grew up kind of sheltered, well, really sheltered. Her parents were always fighting. Father was a mason from Lombardy, hence their name Lombardy, Italy, and or their grandfather, and her mother was from somewhere in Sicily. And when she was a little girl, they were always fighting, yelling and screaming and throwing pots of pasta at each other. So she would go over to her grandma's on the edge of town, who was like from Burano, a little island off the west side of Venice, Italy, who are world famous for making lace and doilies. And she learned very early to make very fine lace and doilies and lace curtains and things like that. And there's also another island near Burano called Murano, which has world famous art glass, hand-blown glass. And eventually she grew up pretty sheltered. She never went out anywhere, never had a boyfriend, hence because of her family issues with her dad. And she dressed like her grandma, with lace and like an old Italian woman, so she wasn't too presentable to the younger generation. And she had a little gift shop and sold lace and little glass things, art and tchotchkes from Murano and Burano. And so she would go out for lunch on these beautiful golden autumn days and go to the park in the center of town. There's a gazebo, and she would sit in the gazebo around lunchtime and eat her lunch and read. And she would be sitting there reading her little Harlequin novels or whatever. And I guess there's urban myths, or a number of them, concerning gazebos. A gazebo is, I think, is a town somewhere in Eastern Europe, near Italy or in Italy or Greece or somewhere, or Croatia or Slomovia. And one of the myths was if a woman went and sat in a gazebo by herself for any length of time, that meant she was ready for matrimony, to tie the knot, and it was going to happen very soon. Well, she was in the gazebo reading and eating her lunch, and she finished, and there's these chestnut trees, big chestnut trees around the park, and these chestnuts were coming down in unprecedented amounts. And she was walking out, and two chestnuts are very big and hard, and they have a spiny, hard cover on them, which makes them even bigger and heavier. And two of them came down and hit her right in the head She saw stars and hearts circling around her head. She lost her balance and fell on the ground, and was laying there dazed, wondering what had happened to her. And she blinked her eyes and she looked up and she saw this human figure standing up on the side of her. And as the hearts and stars cleared, circling around this figure, she saw it was a man with a cap and blue jeans and plaid shirt and a shovel. And it was Ed Carmignani, who was like head of the maintenance department in the town. So she went and was wondering what was happening. And he bent down and he went, "Miss, are you all right, miss?" And she's looking up dazed. He said, "You got hit on the head with chestnuts, knocked you down. Are you okay?" And she was wondering if she was. And he waited a few minutes, said, "You think you can get up? I'll help you up." So he helps her up, gingerly. And he walks, he says, "Come on over. Can you walk?" She said, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm getting better now." And he brought her over, and he brought her to the little coffee shop next to the park where they sell bagels and coffee. And they sat down. He got her a couple cups of coffee, and as she was returning to her normal self, they started talking. And about twice a week, 2 times a week, they would meet at the coffee shop, which soon turned to lunch, and then in about 6 months turned to matrimony. So watch out for gazebos.